Hey guys. So, Ambi had messaged me or commented on the video, and she was asking me if I was going to go live today. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. I had no plans on going live, but I was like, you know what? I can go live and do some skincare and talk to you guys before Neil and Nate get home, because they're about to come home from, Neil went to go pick him up from school. And so I thought, let me just come on here and talk to you guys for a little bit. Ambi asked a question on one of my videos. I don't know which video it was. I think it was my thank you video. She asked me, there's 12 promises that come true when you get sober, when you start working the 12 steps, guys. There's promises that happen sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly, but they always materialize if we work for them, right? And one of those is fear of economic insecurities will leave us, right? And that's just talking about money, right? It could be anything from, hey girl, it could be anything from you getting a full-time job. It could be anything that has to do with finances, right? And so when we get sober, we start working a 12-step program, start doing the next right thing, putting our inventory, our resentments and our inventory down on paper, making an amends. When we do all those things, part of the program is that we will no longer have these fears, right? Oh my God, I'm so proud of you, Krissy. That is so good, girl. Way to go. I'm so freaking proud of you. Oh, that's so good. I'm so proud of you, girl. That's what's up. Well, I'm going to call you when I get off here, okay? And then we'll talk about that. I'm so proud of you. Very good. Very good. So, when you get sober, you guys, and you start doing the next right thing and all this, things start lining up for you, right? You might get a job. You might, hey, George, you'll probably get a job. You'll probably pay your fines, maybe if you had fines and fees. So, Ambi had asked me, she said, you know, when you got sober, all these things started happening, and hey Bethany, hey Maria, hey Concha Princess. When you get sober, I want you guys to know something, that although a lot of good things have happened for me, right, and my life is a lot better than it used to be, every day is a new struggle. I'm just keeping it real. Every day is something new, right? I go through struggles every day. And although, like, okay, with my financial situation, I have money in my savings account and I have money in the bank, right? And that's one way that I have figured to work on that fear of, like, not having enough money. Because that's always, listen, unless you're independently wealthy and you're just, like, rich, you guys, I could have $1 million and it wouldn't be enough. I would find more money, more problems, right? More money, more problems. The more money I have, the more stuff I'm going to end up buying. It's just the truth. So if you're struggling with being afraid or thinking, oh my gosh, my bank account's gotten too low, I'm going to share something with you guys that I've been doing that has really helped me a lot. Get a savings account. I don't care how much you start out with, okay? Get a savings account and take $50 out of every check you get. $25 or $50 and put it in that savings account. So today I went to the bank, right? Because I needed to transfer some money from savings into checking because I'd spent a little bit too more. I had a lot of bills coming out. And so my checking account was getting down low. And so I went over to my savings account, to transfer some money. And you guys, I thought maybe I had like $800 in savings. I had $1,800 in my savings account. That's what's up. And it's because I've been putting little pieces of money back in there all the time. And so here's the tea. If you are afraid that you're going to run out of money and you work, get yourself a savings account. Don't fool with it. Don't get a credit card hooked up to it. Don't get a debit card for it. Just put money in there and leave it alone and forget about it. That's what I do. And so that way, I know, right? That way when me and Neil, if we have an emergency or something, I can go over there and I have that money. Or if Nate has a doctor's appointment and I don't have money to pay for it, there it is. Or if I have a car accident, or if I get a flat tire, that's my little nest egg right there. Y'all hear me? I don't touch it. I don't mess with it. And that has helped me so much. You guys, I never was able to do that before. The money that you guys that I am making on Patreon, whenever I cash it out, that's where it's going to go. It's going to go into the savings until I get enough money to get a new camera. And I want you guys to know, like, I don't just run around like spending money for no reason. Like, I really want my son to have nice things. Like, look at me. Guys, I don't care what I wear. I'm a t-shirt and leggings and tennis shoes kind of girl. Now, I like my face to be nice, so I'll get a little bit of makeup every now and then. But shoot, I don't break the bank. A new camera, girl, shoot. A brand new one is like $700 to $800, the one that I want. But I am, probably going to get one that's not, probably going to get like a used one or something, you guys. But I'm just saying, like, I would never be able to save money, you guys, if I hadn't gotten sober. And so, Neil, he's not on the account, so that way he can't get in there and take it. So, that's what I'm telling you, girl. You listen to me. You got to go and get you a savings account, okay? And if you need to, girl, I know you have a good job, Concha Princess. Go to your job, and what you can do is you can fill out a direct deposit form to go into your checking. So take some of that money and just put it straight to your savings account. I promise you guys, it's the best decision I ever made. So there's that. And that will help you to deal with that, that fear that, oh my God, I'm going to run out of money. Because listen, if you're just, like I said, if you're not rich, you're going to have that going on. I mean, we're all just, but the thing about it is what we talk about when we do our fourth step, you guys, is what we're doing there is we're starting to work on those fears, right? Fear of the unknown, fear of lack of control. And so as long as we're doing the next right thing, everything's going to work out, right? But I'm telling you, if you guys can get a savings account, it doesn't have to be, you don't have to start out with a lot. You know how I opened my savings account? I think I had $100 to start out with, you guys. And there was at one point, I had nothing in there because I drained it. But that's what it's for. It's so that way if you have something you need to get it down there, you can get it out there for, But that's what I want you guys to start doing. I want you guys. Exactly. That's how I am too, Bethany. When I can put my hands on the money, it's going somewhere. I'm going to spend it. But when I don't get my hands on it, honey, look at me now. Look at me now. I called my husband today to tell him because he was like, hey, transfer some money out of savings into checking. And I was like, okay. And I called him and I said, I have $1,800 in my savings account. And he was like, what? And I said, yeah. And he goes, I thought you said it was like 1,000. And I was like, well, I guess I miscalculated by 800. You know, that's a great, such a good feeling, you guys. But like this is so I can do things like for my son, like if he has to go to school and start and get new uniforms next year, or if I want to sign him up for like soccer or basketball or dance classes because he's been saying that he wants to hip hop dance classes. And so I'm just trying to call around and look up these little choreographing classes that where my little boy can learn how to do hip hop dance. Because y'all know Nate likes to dance. Don't y'all already know? So these are things that we have to think of when we get sober, you guys, of ways that we can prepare ourselves for the future, right? So here's the tea. I know a lot of you guys are just getting sober, right? Or you're like, just started your recovery, okay? Hey, Reaper Man. It's in the description box of all my videos, girlfriend. Here's the tea, you guys. Hey, Krissy. You just don't understand how proud of me. How you guys? Krissy had her doctor's appointment today, y'all, and she had to go in there because we talked about coming down on some of her medicines because her goal is to get off of all the extra medications that she's on. Right? She's on Subutex, and then she's on a bunch of other stuff. And so Krissy reached out to me 2.5, 3 months ago. And was like, hey, let's do this. I need help, okay? And so we've been talking. We just talk on the phone and helping. Well, she had a doctor's appointment today with her psychologist, and he has had her on so much medication, you guys, to the point where, like, it's just too much. And she's been knowing it's been too much. And so on her own free will, she went into the doctor today and had him take her down half off half of her Ambien. Because what she does is she'll take the Ambien and take too much of it. And so for her to do that is such a big deal. I'm just so proud of you, girl. You know what? And that way, next time you go in, you can come down off more. And then the next time, come down off more. I mean, like I said, I was talking to this guy, what's his name? I want you guys to check out his channel. I'll share his channel in my community tab because I forget the name of his channel. But he is trying to come off of Suboxone, and he jumped off and lasted like 12 or 13 days. Hey, Danny. What's up, girl? My prescription for propanol on the 29th. I'm so nervous as I have not had one panic attack since starting them. Oh, that's good. What's up? What's up? That's good, George. They should let them know, hey, man, I haven't had any panic attacks since I started this medicine. Okay, where was I now? Get back on track, Nicole. I was trying to tell you all a story. It was a huge deal. I told him some other things I'm doing. Okay, good. I'm so proud of you, girl. So, okay. What was I saying? I just lost my time. So she did that. Krissy did that. Big, big, big accomplishment, Krissy. For real. I'm really proud of you, girl. Oh, that's what I was telling you guys. Who are you in a race with? If you're getting sober or you're trying to taper off a medication, why are you rushing? The only person that you should be racing is yourself, right? When you get sober, you guys, it's about stability. It's about following through. It's about taking it one step at a time. And the only person that you're in competition with is yourself. Take your time, okay? And do what works. The longer and the slower that you taper, the better off you're going to be. Okay? The better off you're going to be. When you're racing and you're trying to jump off because you're worried about what Tom, Dick, and Harry think, let me tell you something. Every time that I was trying to rush because I was worried about what other people think, I made the dumbest decision. Y'all remember back in January when I jumped off of my Lexapro like an idiot, and I was ill from that shit, you guys. Ill. Okay? Take your time. Hey, Lou. It is not a competition. We like, seriously, take your time with addiction, you guys. It is so important to build a habit, right? Build a program, build a schedule. Okay, so if you're trying to come off of a medication or you're trying to come off of drugs, whatever you're trying to do, and it's a medication or a drug that you need to taper from because you're going to have withdrawals, take your time and slowly work your way off. That way you'll be successful, right? Because what I find, and this is just from my experience, my personal experience, and from like helping other people, is what I find happen is a lot of people, when they jump too early, they fall back, right? They fall back into their old ways. Because what they do is they jump off too early, and then they don't build any kind of support system. So while you're doing this, taper, you just be building yourself up a support system, get connected, start going to some meetings, start hanging out with some sober support. And that's the best thing that you can do. Like, look at me, okay? I'm tapering so slow off my Suboxone, you guys. But while I'm tapering off of it, I have you guys, I have my sponsor, I have my sponsee, I have my husband, I have a whole support network behind me. Okay? So if I didn't have you guys in my support system, then I would just jump off and make stupid decisions, right? And that just ends up harming myself, right? I put myself in harm's way when I do that. Do not put so much stock in how someone else works their recovery, okay? Because it's not you, right? So just because Jan jumped off of Suboxone at a year sober doesn't mean you are going to do the same thing. Just because Johnny only takes 6 milligrams doesn't mean that's going to work for you, right? I finally started realizing that I'm not going to do it like everybody else does. I'm my own person, right? Yes, everybody's pathway is different, you guys. And like, even with like what Lou talks about, okay? Lou talks about recovery from abuse. If any of you guys are struggling with, physical, mental, emotional, verbal abuse, check out Lou's channel. She talks a lot about, recovery from abuse, you guys. But here's the deal. No matter what you're recovering from, you got to take it easy, and you got to take it slow, and you got to build those habits, right? Those positive habits, those positive, the things that you're doing that are different, right? So like today, I get up in the morning, I do my prayer and meditation. Okay, I've had to learn that new way of life. I have had to practice that every morning, so that way it's become a working part of my mind. So every single day when I wake up, I say, oh, got to do my prayer and meditation. Let's go ahead and do that right now. While we're sitting here, we're going to do a Courage to Change reading, because I just love reading out of here. Here we go. At first, the idea of searching for defects of character, wrongs, shortcomings, and harm I have done can seem like just another excuse to be hard on myself. That's why it's so important to concentrate on the first 3 steps long enough to develop a strong spiritual foundation. So right here it's talking about step 4 is where we start searching our defects of character, wrongs, shortcomings, and harms that we've done to others, right? So before we go to step 4, we can't just skip to step 4. You don't start out on step 4. You go 1, 2, 3. And there's a reason those steps are in order, because steps 1 through 3 are going to get you that spiritual foundation, that connection, that sober support that you need before you go into step 4, right? So in these early steps, we admit the areas over which we are powerless, such as alcoholism and other people, and learn that a power greater than ourselves has no such limitations. We decide to place our will and our life in the hands of this higher power. We let go of burdens that were never ours to carry, and we begin to treat ourselves more kindly and more realistically. When we move on to later steps, we do so for our well being. We begin a process that is immensely rewarding, and we go forward under the guidance of a higher power. This enables us to be much more gentle with our recovery. Today's reminder: the first 3 steps are the cornerstone on which my progress is built. No matter how long I have been in this program, I won't hesitate to touch base with the foundation of my spiritual health. So, and I love when you read this, but me too. So it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter, you guys, how far along we are in our recovery. We always need to go back to the basics, right? Steps 1 through 3, which are our surrender, connecting with a power greater than ourselves, and coming to believe, right, in that power. And so that way, the farther down we go, the more years we stay sober, the more people that we help, whatever we're doing, we always need to go back to what we started out with, right? Which is our higher power, connecting with other sober support, and believing in our higher power and ourselves, right? And we got to take it easy. So that's exactly what I was talking about. When we're too hard on ourselves and we're like putting these expectations. So this is another thing that we talked about over the weekend. I don't know if you guys remember. Over the weekend, we talked about unrealistic expectations and how it's easy to place those expectations on ourselves and be too hard on ourselves, you guys. And that's part of what happens, I think, when a lot of us are trying to taper, is we place these expectations on ourselves because we see it's something that Jan or Johnny does, right? Just because, like I said, Jan and Johnny are not you. And I also hear a lot of people when they're wanting to taper off Suboxone, and the only reason I'm sharing this with you guys is because I've got personal experience with this. When I first got into the scene of telling my story, I used to compare myself to everybody else. I used to think, oh, well, so-and-so jumped off at 6 months. Or so-and-so, I'm going to tell you something right now. The longer you stay on and the slower you taper, the more successful you're going to be in your taper. A lot of people that I see that rush their taper end up getting back on Suboxone. And I just don't want that to have to be me. Because I feel like what happens is, if I have to get back on, I feel like I'm going to be doing this. I just don't want to have to do that. I want to try and just eliminate that step. You know what I'm saying? I want to just do what I got to do. No shame, though. Listen, if you got to get back on, then do your thing. I would rather you get back on than go back out. Do you know what I'm saying? And that's what we have to do. It can apply to anything. Comparing ourselves to other mothers. I know a lot of moms struggle with this, and I do too with the internet, you guys, because I see moms with their kids, and they're got their kids so perfectly dressed, and they're lunch boxes packed with veggies and all 4 of the food groups. Hey, Bobby. And I'm I pack my son a Lunchable and applesauce and some chips and a drink. So, okay, girl, what did you do? I love you, Krissy. You don't ever have to do that, girl. And I just want you to know I feel so guilty. I don't want you to think that I don't want you to feel like you owe me anything. You're my friend, and I care about you because of who you are and the friendship that we're having, with each other. But I'm going to check it after here, and I'm going to call you, okay? So, this is the thing, you guys. Don't get caught up in comparing yourself to other moms, other dads, other people that are in recovery, because I'm telling you right now, you're special and you are the way you are because somebody needs to, okay, I have to always remind myself that, you guys like me because I am me, right? Because, of course, I'm very insecure. I'm one of those people that, sees some other girl and I think, oh wow, I wish I could do it as well as she does, right? There's this girl that has a channel here on YouTube, and I always watch her videos, and I think, wow, she's so good at like speaking, and she's so smart. I hope that my videos and what I do will be as good as that one day. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then I catch myself and I'm like, no, Nicole, your videos are just the way they are because people appreciate who you are, right? And even though like I'm sitting here sharing this with you guys, like I have to, like I tell myself this because I'm like, it's so hard, you guys. It's so hard. And I'm all getting choked up over here. You think that's what it is, Lou? Do you think it's because we have went through like, you know, situations where we were hurt or harmed by someone else, and that's what makes us compare ourselves to other people? Do you think that is something that has to do with surviving abuse? Because, I mean, I feel like there's a lot of us addicts who have that same thing, and a lot of us are, we have survived traumas, you know, abuse from boyfriends, girlfriends, but I think it's also part of human nature that we get caught up comparing ourselves, you know. I think that, oh, thanks, girl. You know that I love you, and I just want to share with you guys my life, and we are doing this, you guys. We're growing this channel, and we're learning about each other. Like, I don't know anybody. I know that it's so hard. I've been trying to get to know all 1,000 of y'all. Y'all, we're up past 1,000 now. In fact, I'm fixing to take you guys downstairs, and we're gonna go and see where we're at on subscribers. Oh, I am my own worst critic, you guys. Like, seriously. One of my friends from Twitter, I just started following her because I just found her account. Her name's Mary Beth. And so, you guys, she sent me this screenshot of the Rewired Soul shared our, I don't think he was meaning to share the spread the message, not the mess tag, but he did. Over on his channel, he said, I spread the message, not the mess. And I was like, excuse me? Are you going to come and do our tag with us? Okay, hold on, guys. Let's go downstairs and look and see let's look and see where we're at with our subscriber count, okay? Please, hair, y'all. I'm just kind of bumming today. That's why I'm putting makeup on now, because I didn't wear any to work today. And listen to this. At work today, you guys, I had to take down all of Easter and throw up all of Mother's Day, y'all. And let me tell y'all something. I got there at 7:45 this morning, and I worked it. Baby, I had 13 boxes of shipment that I had to get unloaded. So you know what I did? I put my earphones on, and I put some old school Tupac on, and I worked my ass off to Tupac. Okay. So, let's see how we're at with the subscribers. Oh yeah, listen, you guys, I'm telling you, like, 15 boxes of shipment. It was a lot of work, y'all. Okay, let's see. I do too. And I get in there, y'all, and I just get all hype. Sorry, Lou. I get on tangents sometimes. Yes. And I get in there, and one of my friends was walking by, and I was dancing, and he works at the store I was in. And he was like, "You're in your own world, aren't you, girl?" And I was like, "Hell yeah." Okay, here we go. We're up to 1,126 subscribers, you guys. So y'all are doing it. Y'all are spreading the word. I think that I've gotten a couple comments from people who have said, hey, so-and-so told me about your channel. So thank you guys. And thank you so much for that. Okay, let me read this comment. I'm live right now, girl. Come on. Is Ambi in here? I'm live now. Come on. Okay, so I want to read this comment to you guys that Ambi left on my Ambi the Truth. That's her channel's name. So she left a comment. She said, we lose fear of economic insecurities. And then she says, I still lose my mind if my bank account balance gets below a certain amount. I work my program and I have a spiritual connection to my higher power. I have done inventory on this fear. It has a lot to do with growing up so poor and never having enough money to get things I want or things I need. And then she says, you didn't really touch on this subject. Do you struggle with that? If not, how did you get past it? Okay. And so this is what I want to share with you guys. So and this is what her sponsor, hey, Michelle, I said, it's a process letting go of fears. I might let go of it one day and then tomorrow I take it back. It really is a process. Just keep letting go and letting God. No one's perfect. Okay, so this is what she said. Thank you so much for that. I've had sponsors and other people in recovery say, if we work steps 1, 2, and 3 thoroughly, then we should not have any fears. And we won't try to take power back if we truly give it to our higher power. So here's the deal. We are human. Hey, Jexie, I can work steps 1 through 3 799,999 times. And my butt is still going to take my power back. Because that's human, right? Letting go and letting God is an everyday thing. I wake up in the morning and it's a process, you guys, right? So, like I said, I can give it to God and then tomorrow I might wake up freaking out about it, right? So, I don't like it when sponsors say, if you truly worked steps 1 through 3, then you shouldn't have any fears. Because what person is not going to ever have any fear? I mean, that's just a human thing, right? If we were all so spiritually connected to our higher power, then we would be angels up in heaven, y'all. Okay? Everybody has fears. Okay? When we get connected and we start working our program and start working the 12 steps, our goal is to stay connected to our higher power. But there's days, you guys, where I don't connect like I should. And those are the days that I'm having my human flaws. And that's part of growing in your recovery. No person is ever going to get rid of all their fear, right? That's why it's progress, not perfection. You can work steps 1 through 3 1,000,000 times, but you're still going to fall back and let go of that, right? You have to, oh, honey, I can't tell you, I've already repeated 4 times with my sponsor because that's what helps me to keep going through and keep being reminded. So if somebody's telling you, you should not have any fears, then what that does is that makes somebody who still is having fear feel like they're not doing it right? And there's no perfect way, right, to do the 12 steps. There's no perfect way. There's no letting go of every fear. I mean, we're human. The whole point is to turn our will over every morning. But I'll turn my will over to God in the morning, you guys. And then by noon, I've pulled it back and I'm like running the show. And then something happens and it makes me uncomfortable. And I'm like, shit, I done took my will back. Let me give it back over to God again. Right? It's like a process. It's a back and forth. It is so hard to stay letting go and letting God, right? It is totally, but that's the thing. Do you see what I'm talking about? This is what I'm talking to you guys about when I talk about rogue sponsors. No person is so connected spiritually that they're never going to have fear. I mean, if you are so connected spiritually that you don't have fear, then what are you on earth for? Then you're not human. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like, so when I hear sponsors tell their sponsees that if you work 1 through 3 truly, then you won't have any fear. That's like making somebody, that is implying that when they try to do it, that they're not doing it truly, that they're not really working the program. That's implying that somehow you're superior because you've worked them better. Do you hear what I'm saying? It's all a process. Nobody works the steps perfect. Nobody gives their life over every morning and it stays like that. Nobody gives their will over and says, okay, I'm giving my will over today, and then never takes it back. That's like not human. Do y'all know what I'm talking about? So if you're working with alcoholics and addicts and you're telling them, if you truly work steps 1 through 3, then you won't have any fear. Then you need to shut up and you need to say, hey, if you're still struggling with that fear, let's go through this again. Let's do it again. Or if you have a specific fear that you're struggling with, when you wake up in the morning, try to give that over to your higher power every morning. And if you have to take it, if you take it back and you have to give it back to him that afternoon, do the same thing. But the point is, we're not ever going to be rid of all of our fears, you guys. Like, that's just not, I just don't think that's realistic. Do you know what I'm saying? Okay, good. It just makes me upset when I hear people that tell, especially newcomers who are just starting out, that they're not truly doing it if they're not fearless. It's like, no, ma'am, don't do that. That's basically saying, like, this person is, like, reached God status, you know? Like, that's why we go back through them, right? And that's why letting go and letting God, sometimes we have to do it more than one time. Anyway, I just thought I'd talk about that because I saw Ambi's, yeah, that's what happens, you guys. And then I'm telling you guys, that's one thing that a lot of people do, that when they start to sponsor people, they do that. Well, if you're really working the 12 steps, that's like telling an opiate addict, if you're really sober, then you wouldn't need to be on Suboxone. You know, and it's like, no, you're not a doctor. You cannot say that. It just drives me crazy. This is what I'm talking about, you guys. So please, you keep doing what you got to do. If you've got to let go and let God 16 times a day, then you just keep on letting go, honey. Okay? Those fears are not going to dissipate into thin air. You know, I have fears that keep coming back. They're reoccurring fears. And I just keep, all it is progress. You keep trying to give it over, okay? You keep giving it over. But anyways, I'm going to get off here. I'm going to call you Krissy, okay? I love you guys.